Hi, you are looking at multiplying fractions in this lesson. As we look, we're most concerned with multiplying algebraic fractions. You should be in your notes where it asks you, I can compute algebraic fractions. If you need to pause the video so that you can see all of this to write down, please do so. How do we multiply our algebraic fractions? The first thing we're going to do is multiply numerator by numerator and denominator by denominator. What we want to do before we actually do that multiplication is we want to divide out any common factors in both the numerator and denominator. You're going to see this in some of our examples. When we added fractions, we always need to make sure we had a common denominator. No common denominators need when you multiply. And you will multiply across to get a simplified solution. So right now we are going to do a few examples. In other words, if you write it out, it says the product of two or more fractions is equal to the product of the numerators divided by the products of their denominators. Here's a couple examples. You don't have to write these down, but 2/5 times 7/9, you can see we're going to multiply across. They have nothing in common. So we multiply the numerators and get 14 over 45. How does this look written algebraically? A divided by B times C divided by D, where A times C is going to be divided by B times D. Now, key thing it says is that B and D can never be 0. Remember, it is undefined to divide by 0. This is an easy quiz question. Undefined to divide by 0. You can never have 0 in the denominator. So as we look at a few examples, if you would please write down in your notes example 1 through 5, and you can write these right below that table. Example 1, 11/12, and this is times 18. Now, how do we want to write 18 as a fraction? 18 over 1. So if we are writing 18 divided by 1, before we start multiplying, we want to try and simplify. So as we are simplifying this, I notice that 12 and 18 have a common factor. 6 divides into each. If you wouldn't have recognized 6, maybe you'd recognize 2 or 3. But when we recognize 6, 6 goes into 12 2 times and 18 3. We are now going to take 11 times 3, which gives us 33, divided by 2. We can leave this improper fraction as our solution. As you take a look at example 2. In example 2, we have a -4/5 times a -5/6. Now, the key thing we know is that a negative times a negative is always positive. If it helps you to think of this as put the negative with the numerator, do so. So, before we begin multiplying, we want to simplify. And again, as I'm looking at this problem, I notice that 5 and 5 have a common factor. So, -1 and 1. And 4 and 6 have a common factor. I want to divide that out first. 2 goes into 4, and 2 goes into 6 3 times. My new simplified fraction is going to be 2/3. Now in this next question, example 3, -5/8 times -3 and 1/10, what we have to do first is rewrite this as an improper fraction. So anytime you have a mixed number with multiplication, you need to rewrite that. I'm going to do that right below. -5/8 times 3 times 10. We multiply these two. 3 times 10 is 30, plus 1 gives us 31, and we put the negative out in front. There is oftentimes much confusion about this negative in front, but remember, that's just telling us that the sign is negative. 3 times 10 is 30, plus 1 gives us 31. This problem, there isn't as much that we can simplify, but we do have the 5 and 10. So 5 goes into 5 once and into 10 twice. We have a negative times a negative, which gives us 31 divided by 16, and we can leave that as an improper fraction. We have 2 more examples that we're going to try, and then in class we will talk about how we can finish solving these. Now the algebraic ones are exactly the same as if it's just numbers. So when we take a look at that, we have 4x divided by 5 times 15y over 12x to the third. Again, as we look at this, I notice that 4 goes into 4 once and 4 goes into 12 3 times. I also notice that 5 goes into 5 once and into 15 3 times. So at this point, my numbers are 1 times 3 and 1 times 3. How nice! 3 over 3 is the same as 1 over 1. So at this point, I just have my variables. I have x and y in the numerator divided by x to the third. If it helps us to write it out this way, x to the third, remember, is 3x's. So what they have in common is the 1. That becomes 1 over 1. And our answer is y over x squared. I would like you to try number 5, example 5. 15 over 8n squared times 12n over 5. Again, we will take a look at this tomorrow in class so that we can see how you did with simplifying with your variables and the numbers. More examples that they give as you're looking in your textbook. This would be one very similar to your textbook. I'm not going to go through the rest of these. I would like you at the very top of your page on example 5.3 to do question number 4. Just do question 4. 1.5 times 1 2/9. So try that one on the top of your 5.3, and tomorrow in class we will take a look at that.